This is Lilly and Malin, and we are doing interviews on various points and topics, and one of them that we're going to be starting with first is self-agreement.
Yes.
Because self-agreement is is the most important agreement that exists, because you're going to be with yourself in this existence no matter where you are.
Yeah.
Okay. So, within self-agreement, we're going to have a look at daily practical living, walking, which is basically about, in your daily participation, how to stop thoughts, reactions during the day, and to stop them and not suppress them. And then in the evenings, or whenever you have time, to write, vlog, and blog. So basically your day consists of practical living application, your evenings, introspection and investigation. So in your evenings, it's like you're writing the more subconscious, unconscious things that you're not yet aware of in your daily living. And then in your daily living, you walk through your conscious mind. So you walk through conscious, subconscious, unconscious during your day. And that you'll move a lot faster.
Yeah.
Because you're walking through you in your conscious, subconscious, and unconscious mind at the same time. And then what you also find is, it's like almost like a wheel that turns, because you obviously start your process in your conscious mind, your practical daily living, where you walk and it's like you're stopping your thoughts, you're not participating in reactions, you're changing yourself in a moment where usually you'd go into reaction, but now you breathe through it and don't speak in it or behave in it. And then in the evenings, you start writing about subconscious and unconscious things, where you like reflect back on your day, on your life, what's the most major points or words or people or events or experiences that's affected you or your life that you can see that's influencing you. Then you start writing about those points for yourself. Now mainly that's participating in Destiny in terms of the more personal things that you experience. Well, personal things you write for yourself. If you are in the Destiny process, then you'll have a buddy, and then you can send those writings to your buddy. It always remains personal. So those things can be helped and walked through with your buddy. And the other points, that's more general insights, like you can also write where you walk your external process, which is where you look at the world and you give your insights and your perspectives and things like that. That would be cool to like blog about, and you open up your own blog, because that will expand people in terms of seeing what the fuck is really going on in this world, you know. And so in essence, what we're walking is like a truly multidimensional process, because you're walking your conscious mind, your subconscious and unconscious, and then you're walking your external reality process at the same time. So you do your subconscious and unconscious, mostly personal writings for yourself. It's like really personal. Otherwise, you can, if you're comfortable with sharing some of the points, just like yourself insights, like you've worked with laziness, or you've worked with discipline, or you've worked with change, or you've worked with realization, something that you've already walked for yourself and you've come to a realization about it, then you share it, because that will be a point that will help others. So then through your writings, through your realization, they come to a realization. So they don't need to have to walk through that whole process themselves. And then when others share their realizations, others then again don't have to walk through the same realizations. The point is there, the point is open. When it's grasped as you read it, you are really integrating it as yourself. Then you just need to practically apply it into your life. That's why we're saying to everyone, share your writing, share your realizations, not just moaning, whining, and groaning about stuff. I mean, That's what this world already is.
Yeah.
What we're doing is we're assisting and supporting ourselves to become self-directive in change. Therefore, you first walk your process, self-forgiveness, self-corrective application. When you come to a realization, insight, understanding through what you have walked as a point, then you share it.
Yeah.
Because then you share not knowledge and information, you share yourself as a point that you've realized as yourself. Then it becomes real. Then it becomes a point that will assist and support someone else in their process, where they can read your whole experience and go, wow, I see, I realize, I understand with you. And then all they have to do is incorporate it into their life and change themselves. So we compress time, so we compress process, so that we don't have to wait for everyone to walk to the same point. Because we are each other, we walk points for and as each other. I mean, there's no way we're going to, in this one life, for example, walk everyone else's points at the same time. The point is about equality and oneness.
Yeah.
So you become equal and one with all beings as all parts of you. And that we do through realizations. Simply integrate the realization into your life. Like, let's say, for example, someone's come to a realization about discipline through prioritizing time. And you've realized that that's a point where you've fallen in. And you see that this person's realization you can incorporate into your world practically. And what you do is you take that realization of the person, stand equal to and one with it, and then live it in your world through practically prioritizing your world. That's usually a point that many people miss.
Yeah.
It's like everyone's reading going, aha, I realize, understand, and see, not seeing, realizing, or really understanding what practical living means.
Yeah.
Because a realization and insight and understanding does not mean change. It's a window of opportunity for change. You've always got to live change practically.
Makes sense.
Any questions so far?
No, it makes sense. Yeah.
Clear on it?
Yep.
So now, each one in existence. Let's have a look at how we're, like, in fact, walking together. Each being in existence is like a part of self. Each being in existence is walking their individual process. The more each being share their realizations, the more each being and the other being start standing equal to and one with each other's realizations, the faster we walk the process of equality and oneness and self-realization at the same time. That's why we've been walking within a group context, because when we walk in a group, we walk together. In that togetherness, we realize ourselves through each other, walking together.
Definitely.
So, always a point to remember, and this is also where beings tend to get lost in, is within relationships where you think that when you're in a relationship, you must give up yourself and change according to what each other prescribes the relationship to be, according to expectations, ideas, perceptions, beliefs, fantasies, society, parents, family, money, religion, God knows what else is in that concoction. So, what's important is that in terms of an agreement, always remember self. That it's two individuals, which is like two circles, connected at a point, but still individual. There's your agreement.
Exactly.
Here's your agreement. Here's your agreement. Here's your agreement. You see, it's like equal and one. But you're still remaining you. And in this process, each individual that's walking together still has their individual process, meaning relationships have also in essence become like a hiding place, if you want to call that, because beings then try and change themselves so as to not have to face the real selves. So they kind of like change themselves into a relationship construct or a relationship entity and then suppress everything else of themselves, thinking they can hide themselves into a separate self-creation, when it's about changing agreements into a point where we can actually face ourselves, to change ourselves, into effective, living, practical beings that stand for what is best for all.
Yeah.
I mean, that for me is one of the most awesome experiences one can give oneself.
Yeah.
Because you're walking yourself, you're walking with someone that you're building a life together that you can trust, that you can be intimate with, that you can be open with, that you can be yourself with.
Yeah,
And
honest.
yes, and each other sees everything of each other,
Yeah.
yet understand that that is not who we really are. Yes, it's what we are at the moment,
Yeah.
but we're going to help each other through it.
Yeah.
Because we know that we're going to change ourselves and we're going to do that together.
Yeah.
And within that be living examples of what can be done. And we're going to, in essence, change this world through relationships, self-agreement, agreement with others, agreements with nature, the animal kingdom, earth, the world, everything.
Yeah.
It's all about our starting point, equality and oneness. So, within agreement, remember to not, or to consider the point of not losing oneself within. I mean, the chance that it might happen for beings, especially starting one, is probably good, because it's like the excitement and the adrenaline and the butterflies in the stomach and things like that. But eventually, as everyone knows that's been through relationships, it does disappear. Therefore, we're always saying, in terms of when establishing agreements, is to make sure that you know exactly who you're going to be in agreement with.
Yeah.
Rather get to know each other first before making a decision. That's what's important.
Yeah.
To know what it is that you are deciding in its totality. Not to rush into it with energy, expectations, ideas, belief, projection. See yourself and each other for what it is. Be real.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what you've experienced.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, definitely. Like for the first time in my entire life.
you first got to know.
Yeah.
You saw everything.
Yeah, and I
then
shared everything as well.
And then you made a decision.
Yeah.
So it was a decision that you made.
Yeah.
It wasn't something that you fell into through energy.
No.
So it was a clear-cut decision. You sat with yourself, I don't know if you even remember this,
Yeah.
and you actually looked at it and you made a decision,
Yeah.
and then you walked it.
Yeah.
So in terms of that principle, that's the most stable, directive, clear way to walk into something.
Yeah.
Where you've made the decision, and that you've taken responsibility, you're taking your power, and then you can direct yourself and the situation with so much more insight, understanding, and clarity, because you were the starting point of the decision.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Alright, so now that we've touched on self, basically, in terms of what we're going to be talking about, and also self in agreement with self and with another, let's start with the self-agreement point. Okay, let's look at like the general overview. Many people, and you will also start becoming more busy during the day with responsibilities and things like that. So, as we walk through our day, we obviously, in terms of how we're existing, we have our conscious, subconscious, and unconscious mind. The conscious mind is like our thoughts and reactions that we're aware of. Our active, you can call it our active thinking.
Yeah.
Our subconscious would be like your back chat.
Yeah.
Your entity possessions, where you're like possessed in a moment and it's like outbursts or sudden happiness or sudden excitement or sudden depression or you know like these sudden unexpected things that just like rush over you
and you can't really explain like why those feelings and emotions comes up. It's just like,
but in the conscious mind it is reactions and thoughts, but you can see again where they do come from. So that's the difference. Yes. In the subconscious, you don't necessarily see them, but you do feel them.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly.
Okay.
Makes sense.
Yeah, definitely.
Then you've got your unconscious mind. Your unconscious mind would be like your habits, behaviors, mannerisms, and patterns that you're unconscious of. That will be like how your eyes move sometimes, how you will approach someone, how you stand with someone, how you speak with someone, your voice tonality, things like that. Then you have your physical mind. Your physical mind is more like your pains, diseases, illnesses, conditions, things like that will start emerging, because those are parts of the mind that got so integrated into the physical that the effect it has on the physical is through disease, dis-ease. It's like the uneasiness of the physical in relation to the unnatural state it's experiencing itself within due to the mind. Obviously, these are also, what I'm showing you now is only one layer of dimension of the conscious, subconscious, and unconscious mind. Obviously, there's a lot more, but these are the primary points I want you to focus on first. This is your if you have a look in terms of the network of how the mind is designed, networks look like grid lines like this. Okay. So you've got your vertical and horizontal lines, and you've got all your points. Now each line is like a construct, is like an experience that you, for example, walked during your life, is an event that you experienced over and over again, a situation you faced over and over again that created eventually like patterns. And then on those events, all the energies that you experienced, all the thoughts, and it creates like this whole system of various constructs and parts and manifestations of energies, frequencies, thoughts, past, memories, pictures, ideas, perceptions. And it's all been conglomerated into this massive system. Okay, so how such a system, because it consisted of or exists out of so many parts in the body, it layers like this, like actual layer upon layer upon layer, as it stores all the information of all these systems and parts into your body as like its memory database. So that eventually this whole system then goes into the physical, unconscious, then the subconscious and conscious mind, and then just becomes automatic. Whereas previously was a thinking process first. So everything starts with thinking. Starts with thinking, and then of course your pre-programming that you, as your baseline, that was transferred from your parents. Okay. And then those two come together, and you like build yourself up in your conscious, subconscious, and unconscious mind according to like personalizing yourself according to preferences of likes and dislikes that you see from others that you pick up. I mean, when you start walking yourself, what you'll find fascinating, if you become like really specific, you'll see like where and from who you started your, how you dress, how you walk, how you write, how you speak, how you flirt, how you use your eyes, how you drink coffee, how you eat. I mean, you'll see the person, you'll see the moment where you copied that and decided, that's how I want to do it. And then, of course, you'll even see the idea linked to that, why you decided to do it. Maybe you saw the woman, for example, sitting cross-legged next to a man, and the man was, like, kissing her, and she was eating with her fork in a specific way. And you're like, link that picture to how she was eating to relationship. And if you eat that way, you'd attract a man like that, for example. That's how stuff works. So eventually you'll get to those type of things when you start phasing through the subconscious and unconscious mind. But see, those things are like layered really at the bottom over here. And then from there you started building up layers in how you defined yourself at that point to where you started living it automatically. Now it like became you. But the origin of it is way deep in physical mind manifestations. You will eventually get there. Sometimes it might not even be necessary, because you'll just walk it through, for example, changing your behavior because you've changed a word. Like, for example, you've changed the word comfortable to how you, for example, you've noticed that when you eat, you sit in an uncomfortable position, and you're very like strict and stern and like sitting at the table and like all zombie-like. So you decided, okay, now I'm going to eat as the word comfortable and sit on the couch with a cushion, have the cat next to me, have the TV on, and just enjoy my meal. You know, there you're already changing you physically, practically, immediately. You don't need to go through a whole process. Sometimes you might have to. It just depends on what you're working with. Yeah. So, makes sense. Yeah. Tell me if I talk too fast.
No, it's awesome.
Okay.
Makes sense.
Great. So, that's what I'm saying. For now, we'll walk through these obvious layers. You're gonna go layer through layer through layer as you walk your process. So this is now this layer. Yeah. In walking the conscious mind during your day, the subconscious and unconscious during your evenings, and in the physical mind, for example, in your blogs. Yeah. Then in that whole process, you're walking also all these layers at the same time in a way. You know, previously, I mean, when we were like looking at how to walk this process, we initially only saw this, okay, first the conscious, then the subconscious, then the unconscious, then the physical mind. I mean, that would have taken like a really long time. Therefore, the process of inversion, the consequence of that process of inversion, so to speak, the outflow of it, and where we merge the being within as the mind in the physical, means that your conscious, subconscious, and unconscious mind is merged as yourself, as one. So it's not like separate systems anymore. So in that, you're going to be walking all 3 or 4 minds at the same time. Yeah. But what is cool about structuring it for yourself in your world is that you will understand what it is that you are working with inside yourself, what parts of yourself. So that's why I know for me personally, I like to know what it is of myself I'm working with.
Yeah, definitely.
Therefore, even in my process, when I walked it, I'd always distinguish what is conscious, subconscious, unconscious. Because your changes that you have to walk within those different levels is also different. Yeah. Like in your conscious mind, you can just stop the thoughts and the reactions through breath and like standing and changing yourself in the moment. The subconscious is a bit more your self-forgiveness, and you're writing it out and speaking it out, because those are like the subconscious unvoiced things that you have deliberately not voiced, but kept suppressed and kept hidden. And through not voicing it, you are giving it power and feeding it energy. So you've got to voice it to like get it out. Otherwise, if you don't, it'll just stay in there, be secret, and form your secret mind backchat. And it just turns out like a whole demonic possession. Then you've got your unconscious, which is your more deeper stuff, where you'll see the origins, the sources, and the causes of how you created, for example, your backchat and your thoughts and your reactions in your subconscious and conscious mind. There also self-forgiveness and writing, but here you have to add your practical corrective application. Yeah. Because you'll find most of these origins, sources, and causes of, for example, parents, family, friends, stuff like that. Yeah. So always, if you have a look here where I mentioned your parents, because we copied ourselves from our parents, sorting out who we are towards our parents is really important. Yeah. Because otherwise that relationship will always keep us in enslavement within ourselves. Yeah. Please understand that we're not saying like lock your parents out of your life or don't ever go and speak to them again. Yeah. I mean, that's not going to change who you are. No. It's about changing self. Yeah. It's not even about speaking to your parents about it. No. You don't need to. I mean, when their time comes to change, it'll come. For you, it's about self, being self-honest, applying the self-forgiveness, making sure self stands clear within self. Yeah. And you can test yourself, for example. Go visit your parents, go and speak to them, see who you are, what reactions are coming up. Go to your friends, who you are, what reactions are coming up. And that you can always decide what it is that you're going to make of this relationship that you're having. But before you can, you have to make sure that you're clear and self-honest within yourself, so that you don't try and justify, excuse, or manipulate your own accepted and allowed judgments, fears, angers, revenges, and things like that through wanting to sever the relationship and shut them out.
No.
That's like saying, I don't want to face that part of myself in me. So one of the other things that you can walk is friends and family.
Yeah.
That is going to be a biggie.
Yeah.
But it's something that you can walk in your own time.
Yeah.
Slowly but surely. I mean, when you and Marcus do the Destiny Eye process, that's also a point that we're going to be walking.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you can decide if you want to walk it with yourself, start so long, or if you rather want to wait.
Yeah.
You can walk it then and maybe just start with these. So, let's have a look. So, you've got now how the conscious, subconscious, unconscious mind work. Why we're only first starting with this layer.
Yeah.
And that the mind and who we are is really multidimensional.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like this.
Yeah.
It's extensive stuff.
Yeah.
So you take it layer by layer. You breathe. Especially if you're going to be starting studies as well.
Yeah.
What is important to your studies? You want to always stabilize yourself in the system. You want to become independent in a way where you can take care of yourself in the system.
Definitely. Yeah.
Makes sense. In that you'll find you'll even expand just in taking that one action.
Yeah.
Because you learn self-responsibility, you learn independence, you learn. But I mean, if you are at a moment in a position where you have an income, like support from parents, and you can help yourself first to get on your own 2 feet, but still have the help from your parents, do that. You don't want to go and savor everything and go and say, oh, I'm going to make it on my own in this world. I mean, that's just stupid.
Yeah.
Utilize the support that you have as effectively as you can. But always remember to assert yourself in a position where you eventually can stand independent.
Yeah.
Makes sense?
Yeah, definitely.
You can't go ego in the system.
No.
It'll fuck you.
Yep.
Okay. So, we've got our basic layout and overview.
Yeah.
Satisfied. Any questions?
No.
Not yet.
No.
Okay.
Everything makes sense.